And welcome everybody to another edition of the GSMC Football Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, and it's great to have you guys here on this Wednesday, May 15th. We have a lot to talk about on the show today. Before I get into that, just want to remind you guys, as always, to tip or donate, get your comments recognized, make sure to go to the following link. That is GSMCPodcast.net. Again, that really helps the show, makes the show more interactive between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. Again, that is GSMCPodcast.net. And as always, it is displayed on the ticker at the bottom of the show segment down below. So, let's get into what we are going to discuss for today. So, we're going to start off the show. I'm going to continue my rankings of the teams in each division. So, today we're going to be doing the AFC East. So, we'll do that in just a second. Then, in the second part of the show, I will talk about the Jets opening up against the 49ers on Monday Night Football. I know I touched upon that briefly yesterday, but I wanted to bring that up and talk about Aaron Rodgers playing on Monday Night Football once again to start the season, and it'll be against the 49ers, a team that he has played against plenty of times over the course of his career. So I wanted to talk about that in the second part of the show. Then in the third part of the show, I'll talk about Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins was asked if he knew that the Falcons were going to take a quarterback prior to signing with the Falcons, would he have signed with them? So I wanted to get into that and what he had to say. Also, for the fourth part of the show, something that I saw that was interesting, an article that I saw on Bleacher Report, some drama with the Bears quarterback room back in 2021 when it consisted of Justin Fields, who was a rookie at the time, and veterans Andy Dalton and Nick Foles. So I wanted to touch upon that and give my thoughts on it as well. And then in the final part of the show, another topic regarding the Jets is talking about Nathaniel Hackett, their offensive coordinator, because supposedly the Jets were trying to look for a replacement or someone to at least oversee Nathaniel Hackett. So I wanted to get into that and give my thoughts on it as well. So that's kind of the rundown for the show. I know there's a few Jets topics in there, but that's what I got for today. And the other thing too is tonight, the full NFL schedule does come out, so we will find out when everybody is playing. Now, I know we have the schedule. I saw the schedule for the international games. Those were all announced. I know the Giants will be playing the Panthers in Germany. The Jets will be playing the Vikings as well. So I'll touch upon that throughout the show. But tonight we get the full schedule, and it's 8 p.m. Eastern Time on NFL Network. And the other thing I saw, too, is I think one of my friends sent it. So it seems like it's confirmed that Netflix will be broadcasting the two Christmas games this year. So we'll find out who will be playing on Christmas, and we'll be finding out where and when everybody else is playing as well, which I'm excited for. So now with that being said, let's get into the first topic, which is talking about the AFC East. So as I've been doing lately, I do have the logos of the teams, so at least we have a little bit of a graphic, a background to have while we discuss these teams. So let's get into that. Now, starting at number 4, and I think it's kind of no surprise, is the New England Patriots. Now, of these 4 teams, this is the team in this division that is rebuilding. It's a new era with the Patriots. You have Jerod Mayo now taking over for Bill Belichick. And they, of course, drafted Drake May with their 3rd overall pick to be their franchise guy. Now, they did also take another quarterback. They took Joe Milton in the later rounds. So, interesting how they took 2 young quarterbacks. But you also have Jacoby Brissett there as well. So, it's a new era in Patriots football. And it's going to be interesting. Now, I think they are the weakest team in the division. Of these 4 teams, like I said, they're going to be rebuilding. The other 3 teams, you could look at them as being playoff teams. The Patriots, I don't see that. Now, you got guys on the defensive side of the ball coming back from injury. Christian Gonzalez, their corner that they drafted last year, he missed a lot of time. He's going to be coming back. Matthew Judon, I know he made some comments recently that he's ready to roll. So the Patriots defense, I think, will still be good. That's something that hasn't really, changed over the course of, these last few seasons where, it hasn't been great. The Patriots defense is still good. It's just the offense has been the problem. And they're hoping Kendrick Bourne comes back. He was their top receiver before he got hurt. They did bring back Hunter Henry as well. They gave him a new contract. So, and Ramondre Stevenson as well. Well, not a new contract, but he's coming back because I know he was hurt as well. So, yeah, I mean, the Patriots, I don't really expect them to win a ton of games in 2024. And I'm interested to see how Jerod Mayo is going to be now taking over for Bill Belichick. But, the Patriots, they are a little bit away before we kind of see them as contenders again. And it's definitely odd to see them in this position now because, for my whole life watching football pretty much, they were consistent. They were making the playoffs every year. They were getting to the Super Bowls. They were winning Super Bowls. And now, they're kind of turning the page and they're looking to try to get back to that. But it's going to take some time. And yeah, like I said, they took Drake May with the 3rd pick. They took Jalen Polk, wide receiver, with their 2nd round pick. They took a couple of offensive linemen. Then they took another receiver, Javon Baker. They took a corner. Like I said, they took Joe Milton in the 6th round. And then they took a tight end with their last pick. So that's what they did there. And then when it comes to their depth chart, I just wanted to take a look at their depth chart really quick. So right now, they have Jacoby Brissett. I mean, ESPN at least has Jacoby Brissett listed as the QB1, but that definitely can change. I did forget that the Patriots did also bring in Antonio Gibson and KJ Osborne as well. But yeah, the receivers are still lacking. They did also bring in Austin Hooper to be the backup to Hunter Henry. So that's kind of what they have on offense. And then on the defensive side of the ball, like I said, Matthew Judon's coming back. Christian Gonzalez, you hope he comes back healthy. So, I mean, I expect the Patriots defense to still be good. But like I said, the offense, let's see what they can do because that's kind of been really their problem the last few seasons. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I have them at number 4. So at number 3, ranking these remaining 3 teams, it's tough. It's tough. And I don't really know. I don't know, but I'm going to have the Dolphins at 3. I'm going to have the Dolphins at 3. Now, I think the remaining 3 teams here can all be in the playoffs. I think ultimately what's going to hurt the Dolphins later in the year, I think, is the quarterback play. And I think Tua, he puts up solid numbers. He did last year. And Tyreek Hill had that great season. And if he didn't get hurt, I mean, could he have gotten 2,000 yards? But I feel like right now they're the 3rd best team in the division because of the quarterback. And like I said, I think all 3 of these teams, the remaining 3 teams, can make the playoffs. But for me, I feel like Tua is going to hold them back. And you saw late in the season, they did kind of give away the division and the number 2 seed to the Buffalo Bills. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to happen again. But for me, I think that they are going to be that 3rd place team. Now, one of these, the remaining 2 teams, if, injuries arise and, they're back to how they were last year, well, yeah, then it's going to be between the Dolphins and the Bills. But for me, I'm going to put the Dolphins at 3. Now, like I said, love their offense, but I feel like it's kind of going to go the same way as it did last year, where they're going to get off to this hot start, and then, you get later into the season, the temperature drops, and, well, again, they play in Miami, but if they have to go to, like, if they have to go play places that are colder, they might not win those games. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think the Dolphins are at 3. So then at 2, I got the Buffalo Bills. And like the Dolphins, it's going to come down to the quarterback play. And I think Josh Allen's going to have to prove something because, now Stephon Diggs is not there anymore. And when Josh Allen first came into the league, Stephon Diggs wasn't there, and Josh Allen was not very good. But, when they got Diggs and you had Brian Dable there, Josh Allen really developed into one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And they recently signed Marquez Valdez-Scantling to a 1-year contract. They added him to the receiving corps. And I know he has a drop problem, but in the playoffs, he makes some big catches. So they added him. You got Chase Claypool. You drafted Keon Coleman. Mac Hollins they also got. Curtis Samuel. So they did kind of revamp this receiving corps. And you also have Khalil Shakir there. Daniel Meehan says, complete disrespect for Dolphins. You have Jets completely overrated. Listen, I know. And I've said it consistently. If you watch this show a lot, I said I'm going to be in the minority when it comes to the Jets. That I'm going to be positive when it comes to them. And I'm going to say that, they got a shot to win this division. So, yeah, I am disrespecting the Dolphins. But like I said, it comes with the quarterback play, in my opinion. Because I don't think Tua is the long-term answer, in my opinion. So, but, again, it's just my opinion. But with the Bills, I got them at 2. And I think, towards the end of the year, they had James Cook running the football effectively. And, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox are decent tight ends. I just feel like Josh Allen's still going to have a good year. And Diggs really wasn't a part of that offense. You go back and you look at some of his stats later in the season. I mean, he really wasn't a factor. He had like 20 yards receiving in some of the games. So, and I know with the Dolphins and the Bills, I mean, they had to let go of a lot of guys on defense. And, the Dolphins signed some guys. I think they signed Shaq Barrett. I know that was one of the signings. But, yeah, I mean, they had to let a lot of guys go on the defensive side of the ball. Oh, yeah, also the Dolphins did bring in Jordan Poyer as well. But, yeah, I mean, for me, I think it just, with these remaining 3 teams, is going to come down to the quarterback play. And, yeah, I mean, I'm going to put the Bills at 2. Now, this is where, Dan's comment comes in and says, you have the Jets completely overrated. Look, I'm not going to disagree with you because I'm taking a risk here. And I'm going to say the Jets right now to me, and there's a lot of ifs with the Jets, but I am going to pick them as the number 1 team in this division. They addressed the offensive line this offseason, both in free agency and in the draft. And they did add to the receiving corps. Now, again, you're adding Mike Williams, who has an injury history. And they also drafted a receiver as well to pair up with Garrett Wilson. Breece Hall had a strong finish to the year. And you still got the defense intact. Now, what is it going to come down to? Like I said, the quarterback play. That's what it's going to come down to. And if Aaron Rodgers is not Aaron Rodgers, then, yeah, this doesn't mean anything. Then, it's, like I said, it's going to come down to the Dolphins and the Bills. But for me, the Jets, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, I think this team could do big things and be a playoff team. And they've given the Bills problems. You even go back to the year before last year. I know they won last year on Monday night despite Rodgers getting hurt, but the year before that, they gave Josh Allen problems because of that defense. I mean, that defense gave a lot of teams problems. Well, except the Dolphins. But that's just my opinion. And I feel like with Rodgers being healthy, I think this team, in my opinion, can be the best team in the division. So, yeah, I'm going to put them at 1. And I'm not going to disagree with what Dan's comment, with Dan's comment, because, yeah, maybe I am disrespecting the Dolphins a little bit. But like I said, their season kind of ended with a thud because they gave away the division, and then, I mean, against the Chiefs in those conditions, the season didn't end well. So, but I don't know. In my opinion, I got the Jets at 1, and we'll see what happens. And like I said, I'm in the minority when it comes to the Jets, I feel like, but I have them at 1. And we'll see. Because last year, a lot of people were high on them, and look what happened. So, but yeah, that's my opinion. So, yeah, the Patriots at 4, Dolphins at 3, Bills at 2, Jets at 1. Let me know what you guys think about that. Like I said, Dan's not really happy with them. So, but let me know what your guys' thoughts are. What would your rankings be for this division? So we did kind of run a little late with the segment here, but yeah. So when we come back, we're gonna take our first break. When we come back, we actually will talk more about the Jets. We'll talk about them opening up against the 49ers. That'll be the first Monday night game of the season. So that's what we will talk about when we come back from our first break of the show. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.